Hey girl, I see you. You lead everyone else, your team, your organization, your family. You are killing it on the outside, but inside, you're overfunctioning, you're tired. You're like, man, why am I doing all the things? My name is Coach Cherie, and what I do is I help high functioning women, CEOs, executives, women who are in charge of their families, women who are just like you, crystallize your vision, discover your purpose, and then I help you disrupt the relationship patterns that are threatening your calling, your success, your legacy, and your life. I want to tell you just a little bit about me, how I came to the work of really helping women and empowering women and coaching women. My story begins over 10 years ago, where I found myself stuck in an old story. And what I did is I saw a coach, and in this one coaching conversation, I stopped allowing everybody else's priorities to be my priority. And I'll tell you just a little bit about that in a few short moments. But what I want to let you know is that you, as a high functioning woman, your calling, your success, your legacy, your purpose, girl, your life, it is under threat. Now, here's why. What I began to notice as I began to work with women and coach women and really serve as an advisor to women is that a lot of women had these patterns that were showing up in their life. I would help them and coach them on their vision and help them to get clarity for where they wanted to go. But here was the big issue. I could not help them with their purpose until I really helped them with their patterns. And when I say your patterns, what I'm talking about is your relationship patterns. And these patterns that you have, they are literally causing your calling and your legacy to be under what I would call under siege. So what are these patterns, Cherie? How can I get out of this over-functioning and over-correcting, the people-pleasing and the poor boundaries? Well, it's all going to come down to this one word. The very first word I want to give you is you've got to identify your patterns. So, Cherie, what are these patterns? Well, the very first pattern that a lot of women have in their life, and they don't even know this, is that they don't understand their roles. I'm going to say it again. Girl, you have got to understand your roles. You know, as women, here's what we do. You're a director, you're an executive, you're an entrepreneur, maybe you're the matriarch of your family, but you have multiple roles. And that's what was going on in my life. And it was causing me to be frustrated, circling around, getting things done for everyone else, but I wasn't really executing my vision for my own self. Now, here's what I want you to do. I want you to understand that with all of the roles that you have, there are emotions associated with those roles. So guess what? If you don't know your roles, if everything's important, then nothing's important. So many women are trying to bring balance to their life when really they got to bring some order to their life. Now, for me, this was what happened in my coaching conversation that literally transformed my life. What I recognized is that I was stuck in a story, and my story was that I was only in the role of being a wife and a mother and probably that supportive friend. But it was in that coaching conversation that I recognized that I had to step out of the shadows and begin to play the role in my life. But here was my issue. I felt like I can't go out and live my dream of coaching women, empowering women, and speaking to women. And it was because of this, because I have a son who is diagnosed with special needs. And I will never forget what that coach said. He said, Cherie, who are all the people who are judging you? And what I saw was that there was no one who was judging me because I was only looking at my life through the lens of the role as a mother and not as the role of a woman. As women, you are not called to just be a resource. You are called to be a woman. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to bring some priority to your roles. What are the roles that are most important? And then what are those roles that are least important? Because just like I said, if everything's important, then guess what? Nothing is important. Now, the second pattern that most women have in their lives, and most women, they don't even know that they are falling for the bait. They say this, I have trust issues. I can't trust anyone. Girl, that's crazy sauce. You mean to tell me you can't trust anyone? Here's the thing. You have got to learn how to trust someone. Now, let me explain it like this. If we say we don't trust anyone, that means that you're building your own car, you're going out, you're getting your own food, you're milking the cows, you're getting the beef, you're getting the chicken, you're cutting it up. You are doing all of that. That's crazy. You have to trust someone. This is the issue that a lot of women face. And I remember I was coaching a woman in one of my coaching calls, and she felt like she had to be the strong one. She had to get it done for everyone else. Now, here's the thing about that. That works for your job, but it really won't work for your life. I'm going to say it again. This thought, I can't trust anyone, that will work for your job. That's why you are Mrs. Fix-It, get it done girl. That will work for your job, but it will not work for your life. And here's why. You're not created to be an independent woman. Now, I know that you've heard the song, I'm Mrs. Independent. That's great for a song. But you're not created to be an independent woman. I always say I'm the interdependent woman. You want to have other women in your life to help shore up your weaknesses and to help and challenge you to level up on those strengths. I'm going to say it again. You are going to need other women in your life to help you to shore up your weaknesses. And then you need women who are going to help you level up your strengths. Did you know this? That there is no award for the I did it all by myself. I'm going to say it again. There is no award for doing it all by yourself. When you do it all by yourself, guess what? You will be doing bad all by yourself. And when I coach women and empower women, I really have to help them to see, listen, you were not born with trust issues. That is a pattern of thinking. You learned those trust issues. I'm going to say it again. You were not born with trust issues. You learn through pain, through problems, through pressure to now have these trust issues. So you've got to understand that you've got to learn how to trust, but it's really how do I trust? So that brings me to the third pattern that most women have in their life is that they don't have safe relationships. It's like, okay, Cherie, I want to trust people, but you've got to have safe relationships. I love what Dr. Henry Cloud says. He says that we are always entering into a relationship and we are asking this question, am I safe? Am I safe? But here's the kicker, is that most women, they don't have these safe relationships, but usually as a high-functioning, powerful, capable, the get it done kind of woman, you are the kind of woman who you don't have safe relationships because usually you're providing the safety in the relationship. I'm going to say it again. Usually you have a hard time with having safe relationships because you're providing safety in relationships. So what does this look like as a woman who's an overfunctioner, who's overcorrecting, people pleasing, and has bad boundaries? Here's what she does. Oh, don't worry about me. What do you need? Oh, don't worry about me. Like, what is it? I'll get it done. I'll do it. And then what happens is that you end up being frustrated, tired, circling around the mountain, and you end up feeling stuck because you have nowhere that you can just lay your title and just simply be a woman. Now, how is it that you as a high-functioning woman can identify safe relationships? So here are 3 questions you can ask yourself when you're engaging in a safe relationship. Number 1 is, what kind of character does this person have? Does this person have the kind of character that they gossip? Number 2 is, what kind of values do they possess? Is this a person that's highly responsible, or is this a person who's irresponsible? And then number 3 is, what kind of fruit do they grow? What kind of fruit do they grow? I love this saying, it's you'll know a tree by its fruit. So the very first way that you can identify if a relationship even has potential for safety is that you have to look at the person's fruit. I am amazed at how many women won't even give people a chance by simply looking at their fruit. Now, I'm going to say this because I am a woman of faith. And so many people will say, I'm praying for relationships. I don't know what happened with these relationships. Let me tell you something, sister girl. Where your relationships, they are not God's problem. Your relationships and the ability to pick safe relationships, they are 100% your problem. Your relationships are not God's problem. He gives you the will. He gives you agency. He gives you the ability to steward your own life. So you have to be able to know how to select safe relationships. So this is another pattern that the over-functioning, over-pleasing, people-pleasing woman doesn't have, is that she doesn't understand how to have these safe relationships. And then the way it shows up in a romantic relationship is you end up choosing an unavailable man. You end up choosing a man who doesn't respect you. You end up choosing a man who isn't there for you because you are so busy trying to fix him that you never allow yourself to come into a position where you say, hey, is this relationship really safe? Now, the next pattern that so many women have, and they don't even know this, is that not only have they not been able to identify safe relationships, they don't even know what kind of relationships that they have. So this is another pattern of women that I find who are very high functioning and powerful, highly capable women, is that they don't understand the terms of the relationship. I was coaching some women, and what they recognized in our coaching conversation was that they saw, oh my goodness, these relationships are so hard because I hadn't really made a decision to understand the terms of the relationship. So what is your Facebook status? Remember that? What is the relationship status? When we get into relationships, our relationships, they are the spice of life. They are either going to fuel our energy or they're going to drain us from our energy. So you need to understand, hey, what are the kind of relationships that are going to fuel me? And then what are the kind of relationships that are going to drain me? Let me tell you, I was talking to a client, and what had happened with this person is that they had given someone some information about them, and the person that they gave the information to ended up using that information against them. And I said, hey, where is it in this relationship that this person had proven that they were safe? And what they recognized is that this person was family. And here's what I'm going to say. Just because they're family doesn't mean they're safe. So you have to put people in categories. And I know people say, I don't want to put people in categories. Well, guess what? When you go to the grocery store, they have items in categories. Why? So that it's organized and we know where to get what from where. So if you have someone in your relationships who is a critic, why would you try to get affirmation from a critic when they're not a comrade? So you need to call it what it is. What kind of relationship? Is this the kind of relationship that's going to drain you, fuel you, help you, harm you, belittle you, or be there for you? Here's what I want to tell you, is that if you don't know the status of your relationships, guess who you are harming? Yourself. You are 100% harming yourself, and I call that self-imposed suffering. And here's what I believe. I believe it is too hard up in these streets for us to be suffering anymore. So you need to understand the status of your relationships. And then I'm going to challenge you as a high-functioning woman, because usually you're keeping other people accountable. I want you to ask yourself, where is it that you want to go in life? Where do you want to be when you're 69? Do you want to be 69 and sad, or do you want to be 69 and the woman who's killing it? So what relationships do you currently have? What are the types? Most women don't know how to break this down. And what are the relationships that you are going to need? Because you are not going to get to where you want to go on accident. You're only going to get there on purpose. So this is another pattern that most women don't recognize, that you need to identify the kind of relationships that you have. Now, why am I saying this? Well, because life is full of patterns, and there are 4 types of relationships that we have that most women don't know. This is beyond just the types of relationships. There's several types of relationships that we have. But when it comes to life as a general way, as a general way of looking at things, there are 4 types of relationships that we have. Number 1, you have the relationship you have with your creator. I believe there is a God. There is a God. You have a relationship with your creator. Number 2, you have a relationship with people. This is family, friends, associates, neighbors. You name them, you've got them. you have the relationships you have with people. Then there's a relationship you have with yourself. That's number 3. And finally, there's the relationship that you have with life. And what I've noticed is that most women, high functioning women, they've got the relationship with their creator. They have relationships with family. Usually there's family patterns and things they need to work on. But their relationship with themselves and their relationship with life, it sucks. Life is hard. Life is a struggle. Life hurts. Guess what you're going to get? Struggle, life hurts, and you're going to get hard. So in order for you to increase your relationship in life, you have to create the kind of relationships that you want in life. These are relationships you have with other people, and most of all, the relationship you have with yourself. Now, this is where I found myself, where I was stuck in my story, because I didn't have the relationships that I needed to take me to the next level. So what I did is I got a coach, I got mentors, I got women who were around me who would challenge me and empower me, not people who were going to coddle me. Now, here is the next pattern that you are going to need for your life, is that you have got to have the pattern. This is a continual effort of creating a vision. That's right. I am all about people creating a vision and crystallizing that vision and understanding where is it that you want to go in your life. Because if you're watching this, if you watch this far, you're the get it done. You're the woman that everybody comes to. But guess what happens when the woman who gets it done for everyone else and never really crystallizes her own vision? She won't have the kind of impact that she wants to have in her future life. So I want you to ask yourself, where is it that you want to be in 5 years? Where is it that you want to be in 10 years? Where is it that you want to be in 15 years? Where is it that you want to be in 20 years? And given your current status and where you are today, are you okay? Are you okay with prioritizing everybody else's needs and never having any priority over your own needs? Are you okay with circling around the mountain and not ever overcoming the mountain? You need to understand what your vision is for your life. And that's what helped me in my coaching conversation, is that I recognize, my goodness, I want to empower women. I want to speak to women. I want to encourage women. I want to lead women. But it forced me to make a decision to say, hey, this is where I want to go. And so many women are afraid to simply say what it is that they want. When I say, what is your health goal? Well, I want to be healthy. What is that? What does it mean for you to be healthy? Are you a size 25 or are you a size 4? Just say what it is that you want. Because when you don't know what you want for your own life, guess what? You settle for what you think you can have. And that is a huge pattern that women have, is that they'll have a vision for their family but won't have a vision for their own selves. And then the final pattern that most women have, that they don't even recognize that this is going on in their own life, is that they don't understand their purpose. I'm going to say it again. They don't understand their purpose. You can understand the purpose for a pen. I don't have a pen in front of me. I can understand the purpose for this water bottle. The intention is that I would drink it. The purpose of a pen is that I would write with it. The purpose for my car is that I would drive it. But how is it that you, as a high-functioning woman who has gotten this far in her life, you don't understand the purpose for your life? How is it that you can understand a purpose for a pen, but you don't understand the purpose for your life? And I'm just going to say this, and people can agree with me or not. I believe that your purpose is not just to be a mom. Your purpose is not just to be a mother. Because if that was the case, when your kids turn 18, why don't we just knock you off planet Earth? No, you have a purpose beyond being a mother. It is a purpose for you to impact other people, not to just impact your family. And by God, you want to have some impact on your own self. So here's the thing. If you're over-functioning, you're people-pleasing, you don't have the right boundaries, It's more than likely because you're not living in alignment with your purpose in life. When you know your purpose, you know what it does? It helps you to make the right decisions instead of the wrong decisions. You go to the right places instead of the wrong places. You choose the right people instead of the wrong people. And by God, over-functioning woman, you will have people instead of having no people. You have got to choose people based on your purpose, not people based on their personality. That's one of the hugest mistakes that I see women make. So here's what I want you to do. If you're like, man, my calling, my success, my legacy is under threat, it's because of these patterns. It's because of these patterns that you have in your life. So what were the patterns? Number one, you've got to know your roles. All of the roles that you play. If everything's important, nothing's important. Number two, you've got to deal with this pattern of mistrust. It's not that you have trust issues. You need to know how to manage the trust issues. Number three, you've got to understand that you are going to need safety in your relationships. Listen, your life is going to move at the speed of your relationships. Number four, you need to understand what kind of relationships that you have. Hey, sister girl, what kind of relationships do you have present day? And for where you want to go, what kind of relationships do you need? And then number five, you need to understand your vision. Because without a vision, you won't have the discipline, the motivation. You won't have the inclination to do what it is that you need to do to go where it is that you want to be. And then you need to understand your purpose. Your purpose, you know what it does? It helps you to say yes to the right things. I am going to make a decision to take care of my physical health. And it's going to help you to say no to the wrong things. So why I'm giving you all of this information is because what I have done is I have created the power experience. You're like, Cherie, what is the power experience? This is where I take you through my system of helping you to stop circling, stop going around the mountain, stop overfunctioning, people pleasing, lack of boundaries, being the woman who gets it done everyone else in her business, for her family, but she doesn't really hone down and get it done for herself. I call you Sister Savior. There is one Messiah and you ain't him. So what we want to do is we want to give you back your power. You're powerful on the outside, but on the inside, it's like, man, you're questioning the things that you do. You're questioning your purpose. You're questioning your impact. And we want to get rid of all of that and help you to regain the clarity that you need and to uncover your voice. So the real question is will you begin to solve this problem? Because let's just face it, you are not getting any younger. And when we don't correct the path that we're on, we have a default path. So you're not going to get to where you want to be at 70 on the path that you're currently on. So will you solve this problem? And then the next question is which mode are you going to use to solve this problem? Listen, you're a woman of action. You're leading your family. You're leading your organization. And you probably have read the books. And I love a good book. You're watching a podcast. I love a good podcast. You're doing YouTube University. There is nothing wrong with you doing YouTube University and reading books and podcasts. But here's the issue. There is no feedback. You get no feedback. And it was through coaching for me that I was able to get feedback on my blind spots. How do you know there's broccoli in your teeth when you're talking to someone? They say, hey, there's broccoli in your teeth. So you are going to need feedback because you've read the books, you've done the podcast, you've done the YouTube University, but you're still not making the progress that you want to make. Number two, you can say, hey, I'm going to go to a retreat. I'm going to go to a conference. And those are really great for you to get some motivation and a little momentum, but they don't sustain and continue the momentum. So you can go to a conference, but who's questioning you? Who's bringing insight to you? Who's pulling that greatness outside of you? And then you can say, well, Cherie, I got my small group. Girl, I am all down for a small group at your church, at your local organization, but groups don't equal growth. I'm going to say it again. Groups, they do not necessarily equal growth. And here's why. It's because they can be very emotionally focused and not very action focused. I'm going to say it again. Your group, it may be great, but that does not mean that you are growing because many times groups are emotionally focused. Let's just keep praying. Let's just keep reading. Let's just keep trying. But you don't have anybody in your life to say, girl, you need to stop trying and start doing. Stop trying and start doing. You can go to therapy, and I love a good therapist. But here's the thing about therapists. Therapists are very past focused. They go into inner wounding, but not so much future focused. Not so much future focus. And here's what I've noticed is that when it comes to women, they've done all the things, the therapy, the groups, they've done the conferences, the small group, they've read the books, they've done the podcasts. But what they really need is they need a blueprint. And there are usually 3 issues that most women have when it comes to them getting out of overfunctioning, people pleasing, lack of boundaries, successful out on the outside, afraid on the inside. And there's 3 reasons. Number 1 is you've got to change your story. You have to change your story because usually your story sucks. My story was, I can't do this. When the real story was, I won't do this. It was a decision. Number 2 is you've got to elevate your environment. You've got to elevate your environment. And that environment, it needs to have built-in accountability where somebody is saying, did you do it? They are challenging you, inspiring you, encouraging you, and they are lighting that fire on the inside of you. And as you can tell, I am on fire because I love women and I want to see you successful. And then number 3, most women do not have a blueprint for success. They're piecemealing it. I'll read a little bit of Gary Vee, and I'll do a little bit of Oprah, and I'll do a little bit of Lisa Nichols, and I'll do a little bit of Brendan Burchard. They've got a little bit of everything and a whole lot of nothing. So you've got to have a blueprint for your success. And that blueprint is going to include a system, a strategy, and a plan. So here's what I want to do. I want to invite you to the Power Experience. It's a 2-day immersive experience where I have done all the work. I have over a decade of helping, empowering, and coaching women in the specific areas of vision, purpose, and helping them with their relationship patterns that continue to keep them stuck. Where we go through and we help you get crystal clear on your vision. You understand your purpose. And then I help you to deal with your trust issues. And more than likely, it's from relationships. Because when we think about the greatest pain in our life, it came through a relationship in life. And then I help you understand and identify how to identify safe relationships, the types of relationships you have, the ones that you need. And this fuels your success. And instead of you being in another environment where people are coming to you and they are draining you of energy, for once, somebody is giving you energy. I am the go-to girl for the go-to girl. So here's what I want to tell you. I am not for everyone. This is not for sister blamer who's blaming her mother, her friends, her partner for the reasons why she's stuck. This is for the woman who says, I'm not going to circle anymore. I want to be intentional with my life. There's more to me than being a mother, an executive, a matriarch, a CEO. I want to make an impact of my life. I want to walk out my calling. I want to walk out my purpose. I want to walk out my vision, but I need a strategy, a system, and a blueprint to help me to walk out that vision. So what I want you to do is I want you to click here. I want you to apply to come to the Power Experience because I don't just work for the sister who's blaming everybody for her position in life. And I'm not the cheapest, but I can tell you this much. My clients and the women who work with me, they get real results. They walk out clear. They walk out with peace. They walk out with a plan. And they walk out understanding the relationships that are causing the disruption to their internal system and to their internal soul. I'm all about you understanding your pain, understanding your purpose, and using that for power. I love you. I believe in you. Girl, I hope to see you at the Power Experience. I'll see you there.